Welcome back. Today we explore the Melodic Soul of America. Let's discover how New Orleans was made. Dust off your trumpets because we're diving into the fascinating history of New Orleans. Imagine you're strolling down Bourbon Street, your ears tingling with the syncopated rhythms of jazz, the air rich with the scent of gumbo. It's the Big Easy, a city that dances to the beat of its own drum, or trumpet. And what better way to navigate the Crescent City's intricate history than through the eyes of a family that's been here from the beginning. Meet the fictional Rivière family, born in the French Quarter, raised on jazz and baptized in the Mississippi's muddy waters. So let's follow their melody through time into a city that's much more than Mardi Gras. 1718 to 1763, La Nouvelle-Orléans. Grab your tricorn hat and your sense of adventure. We're sailing back to 1718. The swampy banks of the Mississippi are about to get a French makeover, thanks to Governor Jean-Baptiste Lemoyne de Bienville. Forget the idea of New Orleans as an immediate party capital. What we have here is a rough-hewn infant of a city, with big dreams and a lot of mosquitoes. Here comes Pierre Rivière, the fictional Rivière family's trailblazing patriarch. He's not just a settler, he's a fiddler. In a place where entertainment is scarce, Pierre plays as part of various religious and military services. The birth of the French Quarter. Imagine cobble streets being laid and Creole cottages rising. New York might have been bustling with trade ships and merchant deals, but down here people were laying the stones of what would become a cultural mecca. The fledgling city had its trials. Native American resistance, colonial strife, and let's not forget those disease-ridden swamps. Yet through it all, the tunes from Pierre's fiddle offer solace and celebration, embodying the resilience of what will become New Orleans' defining trait. 1763 to 1803, Spanish and American eras. With the Treaty of Paris in 1763, New Orleans finds itself under Spanish rule. The city changes flags, and the Rivière family's music adapts. It's during this era that the Great New Orleans Fire of 1788 blazes, devastating much of the city. The Spanish rebuild it in a grander style, adding architectural flair that rivals Havana or Madrid. When you look at the iron balconies in the French Quarter, remember, that's actually Spanish influence. Now fast forward to 1803, and the Louisiana Purchase flips the script again. The city becomes American, and now it's not just about Mardi Gras, it's also the 4th of July. As the US is busy establishing its capital in Washington, D.C., New Orleans becomes a multicultural trading hub. Antonio picks up the banjo, a reflection of the growing African influence in the city, and the Rivière family's music gains yet another layer. 1803 to 1865, riverboats and ragtime. Hold on to your bowler hats. As America pushes westward, New Orleans turns into a booming port city. Imagine the Mississippi River as America's main street, and New Orleans as its busiest marketplace. Enter Charles Rivière, Antonio's son, who swaps the family banjo for a brass trumpet and jumping on the ragtime bandwagon. But it's not all merry melodies. Slavery casts a dark shadow over the South, and New Orleans becomes the largest slave market in the country. However, the city's populace includes a significant number of free people, many of whom are musicians like the Rivière family. Then comes the Civil War, and the city falls early to Union forces in 1862. Unlike Atlanta, which gets razed to the ground, New Orleans is largely spared, as the Union needed the city as a functioning port. The city became a Union enclave in Confederate territory. Charles joins a military band and learns the northern tunes, symbolizing how New Orleans is caught between two worlds. 1910 to 1933, the Jazz Age and Prohibition. Step into 1910, where the air in New Orleans already hums with the anticipation of a jazz revolution. The jazz of this era pulsates in the red light district of Storyville, where musicians have been laying the groundwork. In this citywide symphony, our Rivière family is but a single note. As the roaring 20s emerge, Prohibition sweeps the nation. Underground jazz thrives here, filling the air with a rebellious spirit. By the time we reach the mid-20s, jazz has spread its wings, finding new audiences from Chicago to Paris. Yet its heart beats strongest in the Big Easy, where local talents, including our ever-evolving Rivière family, imbue it with a distinctive blend of improvisation and soul. And now, let the festivities begin. Mardi Gras, a tradition that predates jazz but now dances to its beat. As the city decks itself in vibrant hues of purple and gold and green, the spectacle is as much a feast for the eyes as the music is for the ears. 1954 to present day. The Civil Rights era to Hurricane Katrina. Enter Louise Rivière, a saxophonist with a penchant for social justice. Louise finds herself in a New Orleans grappling with desegregation and the civil rights movement. The city becomes a hotbed for civil rights activism. Louise joins in, performing in events that fundraise for desegregation efforts. Imagine her sax melodies filling the air as MLK speeches play on scratchy radios. The city starts to change. Schools are desegregated, though not without conflict. Places like Preservation Hall become symbols of racial harmony where black and white musicians play side by side. Fast forward to 2005, Hurricane Katrina hits, a natural disaster that becomes a man-made tragedy due to poor levee construction and delayed government response. New Orleans' suffering is compounded by systematic neglect and entire neighborhoods are left underwater. The hurricane exposes the city's vulnerabilities, but also its indefatigable spirit. Music becomes an anthem of recovery. Fundraisers, charity concerts, and even Mardi Gras play crucial roles in the city's slow but determined comeback.